true crime podcasts like My Favourite Murder, All Killer No Filler and Dr Death, to name just a few. They're on the rise, regularly topping the podcast chart. And actually 61% of listeners are women. But with many poring over the grisly details of often horrific crimes, have they gone a bit too far? I mean, to be honest, I wouldn't know because I'm not into this, but I know that you... Well, in fact, all three of you are really into it, aren't you? Yeah.
Mine isn't so much podcasts, mine's more TV shows. My name is Denise Welsh and I'm a true crime obsessive person. Honestly, I am. I am obsessed with it. And it's about, to me... It's about having said that, I don't like My Favourite Murder. I don't like the ones who are bringing humour into it. To me, it's a serious topic and I take my true crime very seriously. And, but I have got to the point where I'm rarely watching any good dramas that are on because I'm looking constantly for the best true crime series. I'm now watching 48 on YouTube, which is an American show. And when I look at my phone and I see a new 48 comes up, unlike when you got your daughter's results today, I'm like jumping up and down on the spot with excitement about it. And it's about... There's so much psychology to do with why people are like this, but I think there's an element of danger that you don't get normally. If you're watching a drama series about it, you know that it didn't really happen, but this did really happen. And I usually like American stuff because I find it's a little bit more distant. But I'm utterly fascinated by the psychology behind why people kill. And I'm not really talking about serial killers, your Jeffrey Dahmers and that, even though that is a very fascinating topic. It's about the fact that most murders that are committed for the simple thing of greed. And you're screaming at the television going, why don't you just divorce her? Just divorce her. But for a £200,000 life insurance policy, they'll think they'll get away with murder. And it's also about watching the comeuppance. There has to be the comeuppance.
Yeah. Well, they always say in the psychology of that's what people are looking for. They know that bad things happen, but they want to know that it has a kind of resolution. I think that's it. But, I mean, I just don't like violence. I don't want to watch violence. I don't really want to focus on criminals because the focus is generally on the perpetrator rather than
on
the mayhem
there's many survivors as well.
So I don't want violence in my life, and I don't understand why other people do. I know I'm the odd person out here.
I don't like to see violence. I don't like to see violence.
Yeah.
But yeah,
go on. I think I'm intrigued, but I have to have an outcome. I want there to be a positive outcome for the survivor. I want that person jailed. I want that person put away for life. So I kind of watch it to make sure. I can't watch something where it's unsolved.
No, I can't watch. Never watch unsolved.
But I just watched that you said about the greed. I watched The Fall with Chillers. Do you remember the guy that was jailed for life for attempted double murder? This is true life in England. Gassing his house, potentially going to kill his kids. And then manipulating the parachute. So she's jumped 2,000 odd jumps.
Woman on the show.
And he literally twisted all of her wires and then she went out and she fell to the ground and the only reason she survived is because it was a newly ploughed field. She survived, but she didn't want to put him in jail.
Yeah.
I mean, why wouldn't you? He's trying to kill you.
I think she probably couldn't comprehend the horror of what he tried to do.
I'm surprised at you, Linda. I didn't think it would be your bag.
Yeah, I do. I like it. First of all, I don't understand podcasts. I've done quite a few. I've done one of your podcasts, didn't I? But I wouldn't have a clue how to do it. But I do like watching them, but I fast-forward all the really bad bits.
Yeah.
Like all the really, really violent
Kind
bits.
of a bit of a pointless exercise.
No, I can't watch it. I know what's going to happen.
And what are the bad bits, then, in your mind?
When they're killing people. So I know that I'm like you, I just want them to be found. I want to make sure at the end that they're found and they have to serve a sentence and everything. But it was like the football, I keep fast-forwarding all the bad bits to get to the good bits.
It's like, why... I mean, we generally accept at the moment that, you know, people are finding life quite tough, that there's a lot of bad things, you know, happening in the world and it can get people down and depress them.
But we like a whodunit.
But we're focusing on bad people, and particularly now, you know, whether it's podcasts or streaming or whatever, there's this binging thing. And that, you know, I'm not saying I'm not interested in it. Of course I've listened to some of them and watched some of them. But it's when people, like you said, you're obsessed about it. It's that binging thing that I just don't think is going to be particularly helpful.
I'm sure it's not, but I don't know about you guys in the audience, but if I have to wait a day for something, I can't cope with it. I'm jumping up and down again. You know, I can do 10-hour stretch of true crime, and if I had a bedpan, I wouldn't even go to the toilet.
I mean, I couldn't do that with anything. Like, 3 episodes on the trot of anything would be my absolute...
Oh, no, you're
maximum.
not a binger, you're not. But you're actually voicing a... Why have you got a true crime podcast? What's that about?
Well, no, I have done one because it was a crime in Scotland that I reported on when I was a young reporter. It was an assassin who had come to murder this guy who was a Croatian leader and emigrant. So I'm not saying that it's not interesting, but I just don't like to focus too much on bad people.
But the thing is, it's not just all about murder. Crime takes this corporate crime. I listened to one recently, a very British cult, about this very unregulated world of life coaching and people charging for life coaching when they haven't got any skills, and usually their life, you find out, has been a disaster. But they're taking all this money. Not all life coaches, but it is an unregulated world.
But do you ever seek out good things?
No, I did a series. I did a series. To be fair to me, I did a series during COVID for Crime and Investigation Channel. When I saw Denise Welsh and Crime and Investigation Channel, I thought I could die happy. But it was called Survivors because I felt, like you've just mentioned, that there is so much attention on the perpetrator and not a lot on some of the survivors who've got incredible stories of real life.
Yeah, it might perpetuate copycatting, though, isn't it? That's the only problem with it all.
Well, yeah, and it's changing
and the
the way
notoriety that is attached to people who actually do pretty evil things, when actually what might be better for all of us is that they get consigned to the dustbin bin, and actually we celebrate the people who do good things. It might be a more positive thing, but I'm not going to convince you. I'm not even going to try.
No.
I'm not even going to try.
No, the Crime Minister.